Seeing our boy DN, Mr. Donnie Yen in Fist of Fury. It's such a legendary show. Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another episode here today on the DSP channel. It is I, yes, Celine or aka Cynthia, here on the channel, and I will probably explain that in another video about Cynthia and what it means. But yes, thank you very much to every single soul out here who is stopping by, even if it's just for a short time, a brief time. It really does, I really appreciate every kind of support that every single person does provide here onto the channel. And so whether or not you are a fan of what I do, if you like my content, regardless, I do appreciate every single person here. I will be covering some of my top 5 most favorite Hong Kong TV shows of all time. And actually one of my top 5 favorites from childhood. Now growing up, for some of you, you might remember or may have not remembered that I have mentioned before that I grew up watching a lot of wuxia TV shows as a kid. I used to watch a lot of those ATV or TVB TV shows. And for some of you who may not be aware, ATV was a very, very old classic television program or platform that released a lot of classic, very well known and very well narrated television shows at the time. It was like way back, like from the 70s to the 80s and 90s, I think. But I'm not too keen or too much of an expert when it comes to ATV and TVB, which is again still running nowadays in Hong Kong, but another very popular, well-known TV show or platform that does curate and does preview a lot of Hong Kong television shows, right? And so those two are very dominant platforms for Hong Kong, and for me, I grew up watching both, but I would say my parents were more of an ATV fan. So I grew up watching more wuxia TV shows, more kung fu, martial arts type of TV shows, which again, it has kind of, crafted me to become the person that I am today, right? Being a big fan of those, that genre specifically. There's so many TV shows, especially Hong Kong TV shows that I do love, but the kung fu ones, man, the wuxia ones always stick with me because it's just a childhood memory. It's something that very much has stuck with me ever since I was a kid. And a little aside note here, I was very much of a big troublemaker, and watching these TV shows was probably not recommended because I always attempted some of those movements, some of those flying kicks or something like that. Like, I would see some movement that Wong Fei Hong, no shadowless kick. Me as a kid, I would start jumping off of the couch thinking I could attempt that, but failing at a very, very it would never end well. And so I would obviously just get out right after that. I think what makes them so memorable and so significant is probably the theme songs themselves. They are so catchy. And for these theme songs from these shows I will be mentioning, and that we will be replaying the theme songs actually, they're just so epic. I think it's always the theme songs that tend to stick with viewers, and for a viewer like me, I'm somebody who's very much into music and I love music, and I might not remember the entire show or how many episodes there were or what actors or actresses were a part of the cast, but I always remember and have the theme song for some reason stuck in the back of my brain. And so I'll be like, yeah, I don't remember the name of that show, but I remember this was how the song went or how it was played, right? Once I heard that theme song, I knew, this is my time, I'm gonna sit down and watch the show, right? But without further ado, I'm here to introduce my top 5, and especially looking back onto their theme songs, because recently I have been going through a lot of my old childhood stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I had those VHS tapes that I still keep with my parents. Every time when I was at school, they would basically capture on the tapes themselves because they know that I would want to watch that episode that I missed out on, right? So I still have them. I still have them in my living room actually, so that's kind of what led me to make this video today. It's Fist of Fury with our boy, DN, Mr. Donnie Yen. This show, okay, first and foremost, it's probably one of the most epic TV shows that I've ever seen, and it's probably one of my most all-time favorites. And it's definitely one that the theme song has always stuck with me ever since I was a kid. He plays, or he basically reenacts one of Bruce Lee's characters as Chen Zhen from the film Fist of Fury that he did in 1972, I believe. Is it 1972? Hold up, let's see. It is 1972! Oh gosh, I thought I was wrong. Okay, we're good. We're clear. I'm so sorry, Bruce. Anyways, a side note, again, I do want to say for my fellow Kanto speakers out there, and maybe Mando speakers, but specifically my Kanto speakers out there, I do apologize if I butcher any of these titles, any of these characters' names, or the actors' names. I am a CBC, to be transparent, a Canadian-born Chinese, individual, so my pronunciation may not be accurate, and I am trying my best to learn, and making sure that I, say these properly out of respect, right? So thank you for your understanding, and I will do my best to work on them. This show is one of my all-time favorite childhood shows because, it's so much action in there. It's so action-packed, and we have Donnie Yen in here. He's kicking ass in this TV show. And for those of you who have not seen it, you've seen him as Ip Man. You've seen him in, SPL to Killzone to Flashpoint, to so many other epic, like Iron Monkey 2. He plays Wong Kei-ying. Like, oh my god, he's just... he's so good. And seeing him in this TV show, I think there was a couple of criticisms about how he was so impulsive, or I think it was just the sequences. It's a bit too much kung fu, or too much of a there's so many fights involved, right? Despite it very much depicting a lot of historical ideas and insights about how the Japanese was invading Chinese territories and places, right? And so I loved it. Action cinema-wise, I think it was great. I think it was exactly the kind of Hong Kong flavor that they were bringing. And of course, the 90s it's the time of Hong Kong cinema when it came to action cinema, right? And even before, but specifically, I want to say the 90s was very much a highlight for, I guess, our boy Donnie Yen to basically embrace the character of Chan Zhan, right? And he just has so much. He's so awesome in this role, and he's just so much energy, and he's very much of an impulsive and aggressive character, right? And I think that's what Bruce Lee's character also portrays as. I think only Jet Li's character as Chan Zhan in Fist of Legend, he was a little bit more calm and stoic in a way, but I think this one was specifically more tied to referencing Bruce Lee's characters, right? And taking the influences from there to this TV show. The emphasis on martial arts virtues and values, and the importance of staying loyal to one's master, and representing one's country and being very patriotic. That's the word I'm looking for, very patriotic, right? This show. But I think when it came to the action, it's the bomb, right? And it's our boy Donnie Yen. So you can't go wrong with having Donnie Yen in a film or in a TV show like this, because he basically, the fights will always keep you on the edge of your seat. And because Donnie Yen has this flavor, he has this background, obviously being in a lot of TV shows and films, and he's basically the kind of person who knows what audiences want to see, and he's very good at physically portraying these characters and being able to show their physicality in a very great way. Or maybe it's just the camera angles, maybe, but you know what? It's Donnie Yen doing his thing. I'm just gonna replay the theme song, and for those of you who do not know this TV show, I do recommend that you search up the theme song because it is quite meaningful, and just the intro is just chef's kiss. I hate the piano part. Oh, he's going at it. I still remember it. It's still good. Oh, this English translation too. Okay. Helpful. I love the beat. Oh, I recognize so many people. Oh gosh. There are a lot of ATV shows too. Oh, that's a Bruce Lee reference. Okay, yeah. Jeez. See how epic this is already? Oh yeah, the nunchucks. Ooh, Sick Men of Asia. Oh, that was too short. Ah, dang. Okay. Yeah, just from the intro, I love the piano part. It goes like... It's so good. It's so catchy. But I think it's just that part that always it's always stuck with me in the back of my head. But yeah, like, you know, you can probably see from like the references, like as I pointed out at some parts, that there was the part where Donnie was basically carrying, his character, sorry, was holding onto the framed calligraphy of the sick man of Asia. It's like, again, a very paying homage to that reference in Bruce Lee when he went to the dojo and he was basically carrying that that phrase and just kicking all the asses in there and just being like, yeah, I want you to eat this piece of paper to say, you know, sick men of Asia, we are no more. A lot of this show was very much emphasized on patriotism, being very patriotic, right? And of course the emphasis of Chinese martial arts, you know, having its own unique flair, right? Sometimes these shows, they tend to, you know, it's kind of like there's two sides, right? And in this show, it's the Chinese versus the Japanese. Chinese martial arts versus Japanese martial arts. Or for some of you who are fellow Bruce Lee fans, yes, like me too. I remember Bruce saying like there's an emphasis of there's a Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting. Like there's no specific way of fighting. I think it's technically, if we're looking at a specific type of lens, right, saying the geographical or the country of where this martial arts has originated from, though, that's pretty much what we're referring to it. But when it comes to, you know, the art of fighting in itself, right, there is no style according to what Bruce Lee, you know, his values and his belief system was, right? And so he basically created his own style called Jeet Kune Do. Another topic for another time, but you know, I think this show was very much focused on the two sides and seeing how Chinese Kung Fu was, you know, emphasized against Japanese karate or, you know, their own style, right? There's always been a lot of those shows too, and even when it came to what? Shaolin versus Wu-Tang, like bro, like, that's also, it's not even related to Japanese martial arts, it was just Chinese martial arts in general, but the schools of fighting, right? Fist of Fruit, 1995, featuring our boy Donnie Yen, is a go-to to watch. Let's play this bad boy. Let's crank it up. Oh my god. Yep, I still remember this. I remember that. Oh yo, this was, yo, the graphics, bro. Damn. Yo, the graphics during this time, that's not bad for 1996. Literally. So many oh my god, so many recognizable faces here. Oh, the beat, yo. Oh damn, yo. Oh, it's some, what's his name? Kingawa. Yeah, oh, it's so good. So groovy. Oh, this is epic. If you don't know the story of Journey to the West, you better search it up right now. This is so lit, oh my god. I remember this scene, yeah. I'm getting all these flashbacks. Yeah. Oh, that was, bro, it finished up. Ah, damn, okay. Big childhood nostalgia right there, guys. Journey to the West, 1996. Main actor was Dick Chung, along with other very well-known television show actors that we see nowadays. And I did recognize one of the guys in there, Chin Galwak. He's actually, I think, Chin Siu-ho's, again, apologies if I butchered his name, the brother, the younger brother of the guy who was, I think he was one of the villains in Tai Chi Master with Jet Li. He's the other Shaolin monk who became like an evil general, I think. He's also a kung fu guy too, so I was like, oh my god, it's his brother, right? He was in this show. This was definitely that show that my parents had to get, you know, tape recordings of from their VHS tape. It was the kind of show that always played when I was in school. So my mom was the one who would always record that on VHS every time. After I finished school, I came home, me and my sister, my older sister, we would sit on the couch and we would rewatch that episode from that day. And maybe other days before too, right? It's such an epic television show series, and it's so good. There was a lot of other reboots, and I think there were other actors who were casted as Sun Wukong, right? But this one, with our boy Dicky Chung here, he kind of had it better, I think. It was a funny, I think specifically there was a very much the accurate depiction of the folklore mythological account of this was the 1986 television show series done from China. That one is much more of a detailed, in-depth version of the mythology of Journey to the West, right? And it's of course about the story of one of the most iconic mythological figures that we know nowadays, or folk figures that we know, is Sun Wukong, right? Random story and random tangent I wanted to point out. When I was a kid, every time I would come home from school and wanted to watch the show, again being the troublemaker that I was at the time, I broke a couple of broomsticks and vacuums, I'll tell you that. And the reason why is because you know how there's a kung fu move, and specifically in Shaolin and Wushu, there's a move, I think it's called looking over the moon, I think, but there's a move that you probably might recognize for some of you, where someone basically, he jumps on the staff and he does the move like this, right? He looks up at the sky, right? Or he does this thing, right? And so when I was a kid, I loved that. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I never knew that there was such a thing like that, right? And it was actually, it is a kung fu move, actually. It's one of those signature styles, right? It's the monkey form, the monkey staff form, right? Me being the troublemaker that I was at the time, I took a couple of broomsticks and I broke about 2. But the first one I took, where I tried to do that movement, but it ended up me landing straight on my face, flat on the ground, and getting a right after. Yeah, breaking that vacuum that my mom really loved. That was when I was probably about 10. It was a good vacuum. This show was so iconic, and it's very much well known and popular. Even up till now, people still talk about this folk story, right? It's such a famous, well-known mythological account, a story about the path of enlightenment and the path of, you know, how do we let go of our desires when there's so many obstacles, right? And of course, our 4 characters here, right? It's such a famous folklore in Chinese, you know, literature as well, and has been depicted across, you know, so many different mediums. And we have the new video game Black Myth Wukong that just came out, like, you know, a couple months ago, right? And so you see how influential this story is, right? And how Sun Wukong is such an iconic, influential figure when it comes to now video games, to like martial arts, to other, you know, films, right? And even the soundtrack is great too. It's a certified bop, legit. This one and the theme from Fist of Fury, oh, it's so good. Yes, so Dynasty 1980. This is a really classic and kind of a old school TV show. This is actually from ATV, so not TVB, but this is definitely a classic show. I think it talks about the Qing Dynasty, if I'm correct, but there are a lot of iconic martial arts wuxia figures from Shaw Brothers in this TV show, namely David Chang, he's in this show. And I think, I don't think Michelle Yeoh was in Shaw Brothers, but she was the queen of wuxia television shows at the time. I think she had a lot of power, right? And so she always played these empowering, strong female characters who knew kung fu and who knew how to kick ass, and she was also smart and intelligent. So she's a very well-known figure when it came to Hong Kong wuxia television shows at the time, in this time period specifically. I grew up watching ATV, not the whole series, but I do remember a glimpse of specific actors and scenes, and yeah, it was so good, you know. And I love this TV show so much because, and again, the theme song is very cool. Occasionally there are days where my dad's like, yeah, can you replay that song from this TV show? You know, again, do you remember what it's called? I was like, how does it go again? And he's just like, I don't remember, but I know that there was this actor, and Alex Mundiler. He's a very, very famous Hong Kong television show actor at the time too, and film actor too. There's just so much emphasis on martial arts again, and you know, historical insights again regarding the Qing Dynasty. Without further ado, we're just gonna check out the theme song again. All right, let's get this boy rolling. There's hype. Yep, there he is. Oh, he's in 2. It's a bit blurry, I do apologize. It's kind of old footage. Okay. I'm sorry, I feel like I have to dance every time. Oh, there he is, David Chang. Oh, this is badass. This is a badass. Oh, it's actually really catchy. Now I'm actually starting to get flashbacks. Okay, I'm getting flashbacks now. Oh, that flying guillotine thing! Jeez! If you watch the flying guillotine, you'll know. Oh, there she is, Michelle Yim, and our boy David Chang. There he is. Shaw Brothers guy, legend. Okay. It just got loud really all of a sudden. I love how they just zoom out in a lot of these shows. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this scene. Oh yeah, he's trying to kill his father. Oh no. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it for some reason. I'll take it. Oh snap. I'm the king now. Oh, he just slide down from the chair. Bro. Okay, yo. Oh, of course, the dragon symbol on it. That's epic, yo. Oh yeah, it's called Dainoi Kwangying. It's from Dynasty, right? I probably mispronounced that, but yeah, yeah, that was epic. I don't know, I didn't mean to offend anyone or just laugh. It's just I felt like the graphics at the time, that was good. That was pretty good for the time period. 1980, bro. Like, to make a show that's that iconic at the time it's pretty difficult. Like, a lot of these shows, again, there was emphasis on, you know, an ex-lover and, you know, two people. One's the good one, one's on the bad side. It's like, you know, oh, I'm working for the right things and I'm doing, you know, the legal type stuff. And then there's that one female actor, who Michelle Yim, her character, who kind of falls in love with both characters, and it's like a love triangle, and it's just wow. It's an emphasis. But a lot of these shows, I will say, even though they do incorporate martial arts, the romance is kind of lingering on there, which I kind of like. It's like it's not too overbearing or overwhelming, but there is some romance to kind of highlight certain narrative points in there. There's a reason why that this character acts in this way. It's because of their emotions, because of love. You know, it's kind of like I'm fighting for, you know, love, or, you know, for righteousness or justice or whatever. But a lot of these Hong Kong martial arts flicks to TV shows, when they do incorporate romance, it's not often very much emphasized a lot, but there are elements of it that does keep the narrative flowing in a certain way. And I feel like it's also because of the emotions, right? It generates a lot of emotions in the characters, and for us to kind of recognize that, oh, they're not just doing this for ABC, they're doing this for a certain reason, right? Or XYZ. This show was very intense. I remember, I think there was like 50 something episodes or more, and it was a lot, right? And it's one of those shows that really gets you hooked. Like, I remember my parents just every time one show was done, they're like, well, we're waiting for tomorrow, you know? And so it's one of those things that are just like, yeah, you can't miss out on it. But I didn't watch the show, like, I don't remember all of it, but it was definitely the song, again, was something I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that there was this actor or this actress in there portraying this character. So yeah, it's amazing, certified ATV classic show out there. So if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, or you would like to check it out, I highly recommend that you do. I want to mention that this show, Reincarnated, I think it was during the year 1978, is probably one of my dad's most favorite ATV wuxia shows of all time. And it's definitely one that, even for him, it was very much impactful during his youth, and especially when he was a youngster in Hong Kong. But rest in peace to the main actor, Norman Choi. I think he is definitely one of the coolest guys to play in the wuxia genre. I think he did act in a role in the film called Death Duel, I think. It also has another famous, well-known Hong Kong actor called Damien Lau, And Norman is the face of wuxia. He's the kind of guy who's just, whether he's playing a villain or a good guy, he has this aura of just looking really cool. You know, him in this TV show, I think it's because of this TV show that pretty much led him to gain a lot of fame and recognition for the genre itself. And Reincarnated is a very classic wuxia TV show in Hong Kong. It's definitely very vintage and old. I don't want to say it's super old, but it's definitely old for me personally. But of course, maybe for others it might not be, depending on their perception of it. So for those of you who do know that TV show, like, props to you and kudos to you, because that is a classic wuxia TV show that my dad really likes, and I also like too. But without further ado, let's just check out the theme song. I know it's a really catchy one. Actually, all of these are catchy, but this one specifically is one that my dad really likes. Oh, the flames. Oh my god, there's so many recognizable faces from Dynasty, bro. Like, I recognize so many people. Oh my god, Nora! I like how it's so blurry and like, you know, the footage is grainy. You know, it's a classic TV show. Typical wuxia fashion, yo. Oh, there he is, Norman. Flying swordsmanship, oh gosh. Let's take revenge. Oh, this dude was so good. Oh, he's such a good actor. He's so cool. Actually, all these guys are cool. All these people are so cool. Stop. It's that move. Sacred Buddha palm or 5 fingers of death. I recognize some of these folks in here. Oh, that, okay, I'm gonna save it for later, but oh, Candice, you, yeah. Oh, that explosion though. Blastings, I don't know if my dad can hear from my room. He's like, what you watching? Oh yes, that Chico. I must cultivate my chi. Wow, that is a classic theme song right there. Yeah, so for this show, so there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So there's a lot of recognizable faces. There's that one actor who I think I mentioned earlier. He kind of, there's a shot and he's doing, like, he's holding his sword and he's like doing that, and there's like 2 transitions. He's really cool. He's a really cool actor. I don't quite remember his name, but he doesn't act anymore, but he's been in a lot of old like wuxia TV shows. And I think he was in another TV show that one of my mom likes and my sister likes. It's called The Young Dowager. It's a kind of like an imperial dynasty drama too, but he's always that character who plays like the I think in Cantonese they call it like Bat Ma Wang Ji. Like he plays like a very regal, smart, suave, kind of a Ying Hong, a hero, you know, like, or a knight in shining armor, right? He's always very, you know, flawless, you know, he's very cool, he's very intelligent and scholarly, right? Like a scholar warrior. But he's a really good actor, and actually there's so many great actors in here, classic actors, right? We have Candice Yu, right? And Norman Choi, he's in this too, he's the main guy. He recently did pass away, and so he's basically been the face of wuxia ever since, and he's always that cool guy, whether he's a villain or a hero, you know, he just had this really cool aura, right, of martial arts, and especially in the Molang universe, right? The Wulin universe of martial arts, where all the Jianghu members are always there, and so he portrayed a lot of characters who were a part of this Jianghu or this gongfu of martial heroes that relied on vigilantes, like kind of like their own little John Wick universe, if I were to metaphorically say, in this generation. And it had a lot of flying elements and bombs and supernatural powers, right? So I think that was very unique. My most favorite, actually second to Fist of Fury, is actually 10 Tigers of Guangdong, 10 Tigers of Guangdong. If you guys know the Shaw Brothers film, I think T Lung was starred in that, as well as Alexander Fusheng was in there. A lot of people were in that film, but it was a Shaw Brothers film, but this is a TV show that ATV basically did. And if you did not watch the film, then there's a TV show series of it too. I think mainland China also has one too. I love this show because it really focuses on a folklore about 10 Tigers of Guangdong, 10 Tigers of Guangdong, and it basically has emphasized on Wang Feihong, the most iconic martial arts figure in this historical account, as well as his father Wang Keiying. There's also, if you've seen Drunken Master, so Wang Feihong, actually his master, as well as alongside his father Wang Keiying, he has another master in Drunken Master, right? The Drunken Fist one, So-chan, right? I probably mispronounced that, but So-chan, or his Sifu who teaches him Drunken Fist, right? There's a character in this TV show that I absolutely love his role, and of course other characters too that are involved here. And another very well-known martial arts figure in martial arts folklore of Chinese Kung Fu, right? TQ Sam, he's a very famous, I think he has a specialized Kung Fu movement, or his style is something about an iron fist or iron bridges, I can't remember. But it's a 1999 show. It means a lot to me because, you know, I just love these stories about martial arts folklore, about these heroes who, you know, assembled together. It's kind of like the Avengers back then, I guess, for them. But they were, you know, very dedicated to very much helping people in society that they were part of. And I think it was also part of the Qin Dynasty. I could be wrong, but it was, again, you know, having a very corrupt government there and dealing with officials at the time and politics. It's a pretty political TV show, but I would say it's what I really appreciate is the martial arts choreography in there. And it does have a lot of humor and wits, and a lot of iconic actors in there too, TV show actors too, film actors in there. And yeah, it's a really awesome TV show that really showcases different styles coming from these 10 Sifus, these 10 masters, right, from Guangdong. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the TV show accurately depicts each of these Sifu's backstory accurately or properly. All I know is that they were well known for this particular like style, or like this eagle claw or this tiger fist or whatever it is. They had a specialty, the drunken fist, right, that specific kung fu style. And so that's kind of what I really appreciate, right, because the film, I felt in Shaw Brothers, they only touched upon their two stories, I think, right? And just all the masters kind of gathering together to kind of fight against corrupt government officials. But this one specifically focuses on each of the 10 masters, not in a grand scheme of things, but just, you know, snippets here and there showing who they were, their personality, you know, the type of martial arts style that they practiced, where they came from, did they come from a wealthy family or from middle class, or were they, you know, poor in a sense. And so it's kind of nice to get a sense and a flavor of each of these individuals and their impact in the time period that they were a part of, and how they ended up becoming a group of, like, you know, people who were just relying on each other through brotherhood, you know, and loyalty and all those things. We're gonna check out the theme song. It has really badass fight sequences, and I think it's pretty cool, so I really like this show. Oh wait, I thought, okay, you know, I'm gonna save it for later. Hold on, maybe he'll pop up again. Ooh, the flying across the wall. The bamboo stuff. Oh damn, that's so badass. Oh, that's like that. Oh, that's like the sequence from Once Upon a Time in China, bro. Literally, where Jet Li does all the training and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Oh, him? Yeah, him. Eddie Ko. Yeah, him. That's the guy. Yo, I swear I forgot. Oh, they're all grouped together. They're assembling with each other. Oh, the flames. Okay. Yeah, it's always, I think it's called in Cantonese, again, I apologize if I mispronounce it, but I think it's called Yinghong Guangdong Subfu, right? So, 10 Tigers of Guangdong heroes or heroes of 10 Tigers of Guangdong. I have no idea how they laid it up. That actor, I think he was in the intro, right? Okay, so you see this title card here where we have like the two figures. So the guy on the left, legit, I think we just saw him like, you know, a couple minutes ago. So he basically plays, we just saw him in Fist of Fury. He plays the Japanese dude in Fist of Fury, the Donnie Yen show. I think his name is Ishii Hidaki, I think. So this is definitely one of my favorite ATV shows. It's definitely one that's iconic, not super famous, I would say, compared to Fist of Fury or something like Journey to the West, but it's definitely a hidden gem, I will say. It's definitely one that I feel like for those of you who are just like me, you love listening or watching or even reading about Chinese literature when it comes to martial arts and kung fu. The history and the story of the 10 Tigers of Guangdong is very, very important and significant. So I highly recommend that you check out, you know, the historical account or the historical narrative or insights about that, because you'll definitely see that there are very interesting points that they do mention about how different styles evolved and how these people were, you know, students of a specific type of style. And I think in this TV show, one of the characters named TQ Sam, he is a very well-known figure, and he is a practitioner of Hongku, of Hung-gar, the one where they do the, as I showed before, right? So he is a practitioner of that, and I think he was a student of that style, which carried on to, or that would lead you to find out that, oh, he was also one of the individuals who was a generation, or who learned a generation of Hung-gar through Hong Hae-gun. So again, I'm not a complete expert, I am not a historian about this, but that's kind of what I remembered when I watched the show and read some of the Chinese literature about that. It's a great show, and I love the character Sojun. He's just so cool. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in this show, played by, I think it was Kenny Lin, right? So he plays Ishii in Fist of Fury. But nonetheless, folks, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is definitely one of those videos that I just kind of, you know, reminisce on my childhood. I'll probably catch you in the next episode.